Hello, word detection people. I want to show you my process for adding a retro style talking head. That's right, a stylized talking head in the retro style. So it expands from some of the earlier videos that did the normal head, so I'll refer back to those and just to show you what I'm talking about. So we went from this, a high res head, down to a retro stylized head. There we go. And this is the process that I used to make this head. Used a few different tools. So first we started with Fuse. So Fuse is a tool in the asset store. I'll put the links in the description. And you can randomize characters so they're to make them unique and style them. There we go. The Hulk. I didn't click OK. There we go. And with Fuse, I had posed the if I start doing this, it's so much fun. Anyways, okay, so I had, if you watched the earlier video, I had done face shapes and exported these. So you do various speech shapes and then export to an OBJ file. So now I've got a set of OBJs, and to do the next step, I've got to convert them to the FBX format. So my process for that, okay, the first step is to drag and drop the OBJ, and OBJs reference the original texture, but it uses an absolute path, and so first time you open it, it always wants to search for it because it's usually a different place. All right, so this is the high poly head that I'm going to pixelate. So I just need to export it as an FBX head, and I'm going to export it into Polyworld, which will be the next tool. Okay, and now as I do these other heads, now that the paths are set up, it's going to find certain things. Okay, there we go. Next head, drag and drop, enter. There's the head. The keyboard shortcut for export. Yeah, there isn't one. That's too bad. But anyways, it remembers I wanted FBX. Save it. Control W to close. Backspace to cancel. And then next head. So I'm going to do this for all of the FBXs. Or for all the object files so they can be converted to FBX. There we go. Export. Enter. Control W. Next guy. This is the idle animation for when he's not talking. Export. Enter. Control W. Backspace. Next head. Enter. File export. Enter. Control W. Backspace. Just a few more. Enter. Export as. Convert to FBX. Backspace. Next head. Enter. Export as. Enter. Control W. Backspace. And the ah sound. Enter. Export as. Enter. Okay, now we're done with Moto. And now I've got a series of heads. They're going to come back here later. Now I dropped them off over here, so now I have all the FBX files. Okay, so I'll show you. So here's the heads we imported. Basically, the way this poly world thing works is it has a mesh converter. So I got a window, quantum theory, poly world mesh converter, and then you drag the thing up here. So that's the prefab. And you click on it, and then you say convert to poly world mesh. But it gives you a thing about the number of triangles are exceeded. So I need to decimate these heads so that they're lower poly so that I can make them pixelated. So I actually use another tool. So let's clean this up so it's easier to find things. So I'm keeping just the FBX here. Alright, and now we go over to this other tool. I'll add to the description. Okay, this is the decimator from Mixamo. And basically I was reducing these heads down to 10% of the number of polygons that they started with, and that made it compatible with Polyworld. So I'm going to browse to these heads. Here we go. Basically you load it up, activated it, then it immediately just downloads the optimized mesh. I'll put it back in the same place. And it automatically like decimated, poly count, and then so it prefixes it with that, which is super handy. Okay, so now the E's, activate, save it. Okay, F, save it. So I'm just going through each of these files. Oh, whoops, tried to open it. Yeah, okay. Let's take a look at what it did. So basically took that higher poly mesh, and now it's low poly, and I'll be able to make it even lower poly to get the style I want. Okay, let's decimate it again. This time save it. Okay, next one. The idle for when it's not talking. M sound. Save that. O sound. Save it. SH sound. Save it. And one more. TH. Activate. Save it. Alright, now I've decimated all these, so it's ready for polymesh. And these were the originals. Let's move them in here. Okay, here's the decimated ones. And just a little prep work is I made subfolders for each of these. So AW, EE, F, I, idle, M, O, SH, and TH. Okay, so when we use Polyworld, I'll drop them in these folders. You'll see why in a second. Alright, over to Polyworld. It's going to import. And we're done with Decimator. do is importing these. There we go. Okay, so here's our decimated heads, and I'll just drag them all to the scene. Ooh, some of them lost material, but that's okay, because they're all going to share the same material. Okay, start with the first head, AW, and because the mesh is referencing a temp texture, okay, and this one's marked as read write enabled. Okay, now I'm going to run the script on it. Convert. There we go. Okay, first one's done, and I basically take this output and drop it into that folder. Okay, and now the next one. Okay, doesn't quite look right. I'll just have to use this because I know it's already, the textures are readable. So we go click, convert to polyworld mesh. And I must have missed one. Okay, done with the AW. E. Okay. Okay, it has a mesh, 2 materials. Even this one's fine as long as I select the sand, which is readable. And this one is the fuse material, sand. Okay. Convert to polyworld mesh. There we go. So you have to diagnose these things as you go along, I guess. Okay, there's my EE. Okay, now F. So here's the F. Hang on, delete the old guy. Grab the prefab. Okay. Go to the mesh. Make sure that this has a readable texture. Okay. So this texture's readable. And it's got the fuse material, which is readable. Okay. Click on there. Convert. Okay, it's outputting to the faceted meshes. Convert. And it succeeded. Great. Copy the, or move it over to the folder for that face. And here's what it's looking like. So it made this faceted, and you can see that's the lower poly style. We'll hook up the right material once I bring it back into the other scene that we're going to use it in. Okay, so collapse the F, now onto I. That's the material. The I prefab, drag it up here. Okay, make sure that it has a texture. It's readable, great. Click on the head, convert it, success. Move it over to the I folder. Now on for idle. Okay. Make sure that the texture is in there. Good and good. Excellent. Alright, click on the head in the scene, convert to mesh. Success. Okay, this is the idle head. Here's M. Okay, just make sure all these are set with a texture that can be read and writable texture. Okay. Click on the head, convert the head, success. Okay, done with that, done with that. These are the M's, done with that. Okay, O. Go to the mesh, make sure the textures are set with a read and writable texture. Great. Click on the head, parent. Okay, convert the head, it's successful. Drag the output over to that folder. Great, done. Couple more to go. SH, bring it up here. Okay, click on the mesh, make sure the textures are readable. Okay, click on the parent head, convert the head, success. One more. Okay, delete the old guy. TH, here we go. Click on the mesh, make sure it has a texture. Great. Click on the parent, convert it, success. Okay, cool. Alright, so now I have all these low poly meshes created, and I'm going to export it to a package to import it into another Unity project. So export this package, export, and that's just because I had polyworld it's in a separate Unity project because I'm only using it for this conversion process. So this is the head low poly package. Save that. Okay, and now we're done with this Unity. Back over to the other Unity for the heads. Alright, and I'll just open this scene. Okay, so this had the lady head, and I'll just save the scene as another scene. This will be example 13. Head low poly. Okay. Now in the example, has all the old heads. I'll just clear those out. And then the prefab, the idle head goes there, and then the other expressions go down here. And I need to import these models into this project. So here we go. Import package, custom package, from where I exported a second ago. So I need the heads low poly. Here's all the heads. Now, all this material thing, I don't really want to use the materials that are in this package. I want to use the materials that I already had for the high poly heads. So I'll skip that. I don't need my temporary texture. So this way I'm importing just the mesh data for the heads. Okay, that should be fine. Okay, that's just importing them. And I'm going to move these guys into a different folder. So this is my other head. And the other head used the body parts. mesh, or body parts material that was part of there. Okay, so I'll do the same thing in these ones. Okay, so head. I need to move these heads over here. And I don't necessarily need the decimated heads, I just want these low poly heads. Move them over to head. Why not? Delete the decimated heads, because I don't need them. Oh, there we go. Okay, these should go into the head folder. There we go, looking good. I don't need the materials that were in here. Okay. Now, here's the low poly head. And I should be able to bring the faceted head up here. Okay. And I should be able to set its mesh to the material over here, which was body parts. So here we go. There we go. That's what I wanted. Alright, now he's got his old head back. Okay. So I'll just do that for all these, now that I know that it's going to display right. So for each of these low poly heads, I'm going to hook up the right material here. Okay, so I'm just going to multi-select the, there we go, got to expand one more level here. So this is the head prefab. Okay, so select the mesh inside of each prefab. I'm going to swap in the right material. Mesh, mesh, mesh. Great. Alright, I want all these meshes hooked up to the materials folder right here, body parts. There we go. Now they all look right. I'm just going to save my project, save the scene. Alright, now I'm going to have to drop my selection because I need to click on example 10 now. And I want to set the prefab idle slot. So that's this head. Oh, but it links to the mesh. So grab the mesh. There we go. And then for all the expressions, got to go back through and select everything but idle, the mesh piece. So not idle, the M sound, the O sound, the SH sound, and the TH sound. And that should cover all those. Mesh from each one. Oh, I gotta do it one more time. Okay, so example, I want to hit the lock so it stays here. And select the mesh from each sound except for the idle sound. So skip over idle, M sound, O sound, SH, and TH. Okay, and I can just drag and drop these onto the expressions slot, and I'll auto-populate the array, save it, and now when I hit play, there's the head. Cool. Alright, so I pick my microphone, record a noise sample. I, O, E, A, M, F, F, Sh. Alright, and now I've got a talking head that has this pixelated style of talking head. So yeah, so that's my process for getting the head over here. So basically I created the initial mesh and fuse and post the different face sounds. That exported an OBJ. Took the OBJ, converted it to FBX with Modo. You can use Blender. I used that FBX. I ran it through Decimator to get it lower poly, which made it compatible with Polymesh. I had that little step where make sure all your meshes have a material with a readable texture before I ran the Polymesh converter. And then I put them in subfolders. I brought those from the faceted folder, imported those into this thing, reassigned the material, and then there was that little step of hooking up the different sounds inside of the example so that you have your idle sound when you're not talking, and then all the other meshes are linked in the expression array. And now I've got a talking head. Alright, thanks for watching, and catch you next time. And be sure to check out the description because I'll add all the links to these tools in there. Alright, until next time.